I think there's a problem with the Krotons. It's just such a wafer-thin, cliche science fiction premise. There's an oppressed group of humans and a maniacal, dominating group of alien oppressors. And you know what? Like, the idea that Robert Holmes had with these crystalline entities, it seems kind of interesting. Sounds kind of interesting. But the way they're executed, it's like the Krotons are like arguably lamer versions of what we might colloquially know as the Dominators, but are known as the Quarks within the Dominators itself. And you know, just as the Krotons, it's like, gee, did Robert Holmes write this? Robert Holmes didn't like science fiction. A lot of his ideas came from him trying to make science fiction interesting, as in take some of the interesting work which occurred in, say, the Time Warrior onward. Robert Holmes is responsible for the creation of the Sontarans and their backstory. It's quite an interesting facet of the Hooniverse. I just called it that. I deserve to suffer. In any case, the point is, Robert Holmes is not a science fiction fan. He's able to compose interesting science fiction because he's bored with it, and he's like, oh, gee, what can I do to make this interesting? Well, I know, blah, blah, blah. And, like, he applies... He's not interested in the science fiction cliches. He hates them. That's why he tries to do interesting things within the genre. That's Robert Holmes. And just as you're like, gee, Robert Holmes, what are you doing writing the Krotons? What with what are their names? Norman Ashby, Heisman and Lincoln. What are they doing writing the Dominators? I guess that was their bit of a... I guess one, they didn't want to be credited for it. Maybe it was like half done and then they just finished it off. Like the rest of the script editor finished it off. Because they left during the production or the writing of the Dominators. I'm not sure. The point is, the show couldn't use the Great Intelligence and or the Yeti. I believe Professor Travers as well, although he's mentioned in the Invasion. Though I think it was said that for the Invasion that it would have been difficult to insert Professor Travers into the plot anyway, though they would have liked to. Anyway, the point is, the Krotons. Yeah, you know what? This would be the weakest of the Second Doctor's epoch. Like, what's worse? It's just so dull, and like you're thinking, thank goodness this is 4 episodes. And why is this all available in Fury from the Deep and Wheel in Space? Or the Space Pirates. That's good, Robert Holmes, I think. Some people don't like the Space Pirates. I think it's just because it's not available. Because like you never hear anyone talking shit about the Krotons, but you hear people talking shit about like the Space Pirates and Wheel in Space. Maybe because people have expectations for those. Maybe because if a serial is available, people will inherently like it. Most Doctor Who fans are full of nonsense. Like, I mean, we're not even going to get into... Look, you can like the new show if you want. I'm not going to be a dick about that. I've only been a Doctor Who fan for a couple of years anyway, to be honest. But like, and it's only the classic run anyway. The thing is, I just think like people look at things and they're concerned to like move outside the realm of like what the fan consensus is, because part of the appeal of this crap is just feeling like you belong to something. It's like, oh, I'm going to be part of the Doctor Who fandom and we're going to quote the show together and have inside jokes. It's like, listen, like you can't have it both ways. You can't like truly appreciate this stuff without being isolated and an outsider from the world. That's the appeal of these shows. It's because they're there for you when no one else is. Not that it gives you a community. Communities are for jerks. And so is AOD, apparently. Everyone get off YouTube. Stop watching this channel. It's not worth it. Well, sometimes it is. We demonstrate some good films. If I've ever pointed you toward a film that really uplifted you, then AOD was worth it. But otherwise, it's really not. I do this for me, and the fact that I've got over 1,000 subscribers, like, I'm just like, why do you people watch this crap? I appreciate it. Well, I certainly appreciate the comments. Like, those are far more articulate than I can be sometimes. And I'm only articulate on a good day, you know. Let's face it. We'll close it here. Sped up Krotons isn't even that interesting either.